What's going on, everyone? You already know this is the CLNS Media's New England Patriots Postgame Show. I am your host, Mike Molyneaux, alongside Marvin Ezhan. Back from the bye week, Patriots march into Mile High City and come out victorious with a final score of 41-16 over the Denver Broncos. Sunday night game, late night, but the Patriots don't mind going into Denver and they're doing a thing, looking just like they did before the bye week. Another win for the Patriots, 5 in a row. I think that makes it for the Patriots. Looking good right now. They're on a roll, and what a win to get over the Denver Broncos, a team that, sometimes has given the Patriots, Tom Brady, a problem over the years, but a dominant performance and a dominant win tonight.
But this is not this ain't your daddy, Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have been struggling. When you got a quarterback like Brock Osweiler, you knew that Patriots would have an easier time in this game as long as they were focused and they went with the game plan. And Mike, a lot of people were involved in this game. Everybody that the Patriots brought in during this bye week / trade deadline got his chance. You even saw Brian Hoyer, so it was a good night for the Patriots. But offensively, the Patriots were in sync. Defense, you saw that bend, don't break defense. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing, but it was still good enough. Only let up 16 points in this game. And then special teams, Mike. Special teams were really, really big in this game. That's the story. I think special teams, whether it was the punting game, the kicking game, or the kick returns, all over the place. Patriots had a really solid night against Denver.
Absolutely. And I think the stat is that this makes the 5th straight game where the Patriots hold the team below 17 points. A team where
a lot different than when we were starting off this season.
Exactly. We came into the season watching this Patriots team and we were questioning the defense left and right, whether it be capable to, will the secondary be able to sustain solid play? Can they try to get to the quarterback? So many questions, so many things that we saw looking very wrong with this Patriots defense, but they've come out these last, several games and have played really well. And I mean, we're not seeing a bunch of turnovers, the interceptions, the fumbles, the sacks aren't really there, but you're holding team to less than 17 points. That's all you can really ask for. I mean, for the most part, Tom Brady and his weapons are going to go out there and put numbers up, and that's really what you want him to do. And when you have the defense holding their own and slowing down opposing teams, it says a lot. I mean, that's really all you can ask for from a team. So it's great to see for sure.
Real quick, we are live right now. Yes, we are live direct. So we want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts of this game? What were the key points in this game that really stood out to you guys? Let's have a conversation. Talk to MikeNice and I, and we're going to get it going. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, Mike. Tom Brady, 25 for 34, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. Once again, a flawless game from Brady. He really dissected this strong defense by the Broncos. He wasn't afraid to throw to Talib. He wasn't afraid to throw to Harris at all. He was looking for Cooks a couple times when he was covered very well. And, the receivers came out. Gronk had a solid game, 4 receptions, 74 yards. Brandon Cooks, 6 receptions, 74 yards, even though, that number was kind of skewed in that last garbage time catch earlier. Even saw Bennett in the game as well with 3 receptions, Mike. He was in there early to set the tone. And Bennett, that's a huge surprise. You lose Hogan. Receivers have been falling out. You add in another pass catcher in Bennett. What do you think about adding Bennett to this team?
Well, I mean, if you've been following everything that's been going on with Martellus Bennett over these last couple of days, weeks, the whole situation with him leaving Green Bay and him having the supposed injury, the torn labrum and rotator cuff, and him supposedly opting for surgery would probably put him out for the rest of the season. But then he shows up in New England after they claim him off the waivers. This guy's at practice and he's looking ready to go. Everyone saw him active for the game tonight, and he's on the field looking like Martellus Bennett from last year, never lost a step.
He's hurt. Is he really hurt?
We don't even know, because he looked like he was in number 88 just like he was last year. So it was a good sign to see. Obviously, how much the Patriots love having the 2 tight ends set, 2 guys they can really depend on. They haven't been getting anything until today from Dwayne Allen. Until today, they haven't been getting anything from Dwayne Allen all season. To get Bennett back on the team and have him there with Gronkowski, I think, definitely adds to the weapons for Tom Brady, especially as the season goes on and you push for the playoffs. Why not bring back a guy who knows the system pretty well and can make plays happen?
You heard it right, guys. Dwayne Allen. All the guy does is catch touchdowns. You mean that's all he does? One catch, 11 yards, TD, Dwayne Allen. And I think maybe that's what they're trying to do now with, you bring in a Bennett. Maybe you have a 3 tight end set in the red zone. Because let's be real, Mike, the red zone's been a big issue with the Patriots, and I think they're still trying to figure things out there. There's some play calls that I really do question sometimes when they get there, like throwing a fade to Cooks in the red zone when he's covered by Chris Harris. That's not probably the greatest thing. A slant to Burkhead in the red zone, not always going to work. So Patriots got a lot to work with, but you add Bennett. This guy is 6'7". 260 plus. This is another big guy, even bigger than Gronk. So if he can, we know he's battling through some injuries. We supposedly we don't really know. He looked pretty good out there this week. You add in Bennett, Dwayne Allen, all he's doing is catching touchdowns now. So you add those guys in, you can start to have a nice red zone threat. So this Bennett signing is huge.
In all honesty, with Bennett, Gronkowski's still there, and then like I said, finally we're seeing the hopeful arrival of Dwayne Allen. Patriots can turn this into, possibly having one of the best red zone offenses in the NFL if they can, continue to improve.
It needs to get better.
If you think about it, last year, no Gronkowski for the most part. Bennett was a guy who was really targeted a lot in the red zone. Now Bennett's back. Gronkowski's still healthy, thankfully, And then Dwayne Allen, we saw him catch a touchdown today. So, like my man Gotti Jr. just said, could this possibly be a 3 tight end set moving forward, especially coming to the red zone?
Red zones, definitely. You'll definitely see 3 tight ends in the red zone. They use Dwayne Allen as a blocking mostly, but Bennett is a better blocker than Dwayne Allen. So you're gonna see those guys interchange. And now that Bennett's not completely healthy, maybe he's only playing 30-40% of the snaps when you need that big, catch. We know he has a rapport with Brady, with Gronk going out last year, like you said, Bennett and Brady had that connection. So 3 tight end sets, you'll see that close to the red zone goal line area where they might punch it in. They might, do a fake, nice play actions. That's when you'll see those 3 tight ends, but not throughout.
Before we continue, though, I know this show is all about football. We focus on Patriots, but I got some information for you guys. Listen up. Hoop fans, basketball season is back. And now that your favorite hardwood heroes have returned to action, it's time for you to put your fantasy knowledge to the test and win huge cash prizes. Every night, playing one-day fantasy basketball at DraftKings.com. At DraftKings, there are so many ways to play. Choose from public contests with huge cash prizes or private contests where you can compete against your friends. They've got a beginner and casual contest where you'll only play against people with your familiar skill set. The best part, you get to draft a new team each day. And drafting a new team is arguably the best part of fantasy. The only thing better, winning cash while doing it. Just ask Dan from St. Louis and Jeremy from Austin. They both turned $3 entries into thousands of bucks. Huge cash prizes and bragging rights await you only at DraftKings. Use the code CLNS at DraftKings.com to play free with your first deposit. You share $10,000 in total prizes tonight. Don't wait. Use CLNS at DraftKings.com now. Choose your lineup, and you can seriously win some cash tonight. That code is CLNS only at DraftKings.com. The game inside of the game. A minimum $5 deposit eligibility. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Mike, I want to continue talking about the offense. We spoke about the receivers. We talked about the tight end sets. But this running back core right here, we talk about it week in, weeks. They might have the most solid running back core in the NFL, and they proved it again. And this is with Gillislee not playing. He was a healthy scratch this week. You have James White, who scored a touchdown, Burkhead, and Dion Lewis. This this game set, this game plan, you could see it was run heavy, really run at this Denver defense to set the tone and then try to hit them deep. What do you think is going forward? Do we need to see Gillespie in this Patriots offense?
I mean, yeah. By the looks of it tonight, you didn't need Gillespie. But with short yardage situation, whatever the case was, the Patriots made it work with Lewis, Burkhead, and White. Obviously, I still think having that power back, a part of the run game is huge. Short yardage situations, those 3rd and 1, 4th and 1s, goal line situations where you want somebody to punch it into the end zone. I think Gillespie is the best choice for those situations on this team. Now, like I said, if you watch the game tonight, it looked like just use Lewis, or use Burkhead or White in some of those situations, and they can get the job done. But in my personal opinion, I think just having that power back on your team is someone you can rely on who, yes, Lewis could probably do it, but what are the chances are probably higher if you have a bigger guy who can really just punch his way through, the line and pick up the necessary yardage. So one thing that's very unique about this Patriots team, like I've said many a times on the show, is that they have 4 guys who they can really depend on in various situations, and I think they need to continue that. Obviously, no Gillespie tonight, but I don't think that'll be the case moving forward. I think they'll find ways to have all 4 of those guys involved in the offense as the season goes on, for sure.
So you had Dion Lewis, he ran for 14 yards, 55 yards, he ran for a touchdown. Burkhead, 10 carries for 36 yards and 3 receptions for 27 for a touchdown. And then James White with 3 receptions himself, 11 yards and 2 carries for 7 yards. James White is starting to really be solidified that 3rd down back. You have Burkhead and Lewis who are starting to take the carries, and now you're seeing Burkhead, play the slot position as well. No Chris Hogan there, so you needed someone to fill that role. Dorsett's more of an outside receiver, so Burkhead came in, played the slot, and he played it very well with mismatches against linebackers. That's something I think the Patriots are going to exploit even more going forward, having Burkhead out there. You saw no passes to Dion Lewis this game. I think Dion Lewis is really solidifying himself as that power back if Gillespie ever does get hurt or he starts to become a healthy scratch routinely.
Yeah, I like the fact that, like you just said, they use Burkhead and White in a lot of situations where they had mismatches against safeties and linebackers, and it worked out really well. The Patriots look at that matchup specifically because they know that their guys who are talented at that position can make plays happen. Brady will find them, and they're able to, pick up huge yardage down the field. At the same time, like we just talked about, if Gillespie's out or he's hurt or it's a healthy scratch, whatever the case may be, Dion Lewis showed that he could be relied upon, in that situation. Again, I like the 4-headed monsters that the Patriots have and how they're all capable of doing different things. So we'll be able to see them. But I think the Patriots will continue to use White and Burkhead especially as mismatches against other teams and linebackers and safeties moving forward. They don't need Dion Lewis to catch the ball. They don't. And I mean, he played that role for the Patriots before, and he's very capable of doing that. But now that you have White and Burkhead, they can just have Lewis focus specifically on just running the ball and picking up yardage when Brady hands the ball to him, for sure.
And Lewis also had a fantastic game when it came to the special teams, like we're saying. During the kick return, they were already up 7-0. Dion Lewis takes it all the way back. This is another time we're seeing Dion Lewis really show his value to this team. And it started with special teams. In the beginning of the year, Lewis wasn't really getting any burn whatsoever. We knew he had the injury problem, and Belichick put him out there for the kick return, punt return. And you remember going into the season, there was a huge question mark, Mike, on who is going to be this kick returner and punt returner when you lose, cornerback in your guy. Wow, I'm forgetting
Cyrus
Jones.
You
lose Cyrus Jones. You lose Edelman. You don't want to put Amendola out there all the time because you know how injury prone he is. Dion Lewis solidified that role, and now he's scoring for you as well. So Dion Lewis, very key in all aspects of this team.
Absolutely. I want to switch it up, though, a little bit to the defense.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing that was just brought up, shout out to my guy, Celtic Bird. Emmanuel Sanders had 137 yards on 6 catches tonight. AKA he was giving Malcolm Butler the business.
Business. He got
the whole game. So what a performance, you know, in a guy in Malcolm Butler who over the last couple of weeks without, you know, Gilmore and Rowe there, Butler has been playing pretty well. And then you get a game where, you know, Gilmore's back. Now Butler looks like he has regressed a little bit. And you see Emmanuel Sanders just chewing him alive all throughout the game. It looked bad. It looked bad. So with that performance, I mean, you just chalk it up as a bad game. I don't think. I think
Emmanuel Sanders is a hell of a receiver as well,
is.
and I think Emmanuel Sanders has a personal endeavor against Malcolm Butler. You know, back in 2014, when Butler was just a rookie, before the Super Bowl, they faced the Broncos sometime near November when the Patriots blew them out. It was around the same score, 40-something to 16 or 41 to 13, something like that. And Malcolm Butler played a huge role in that game where he covered Emmanuel Sanders. And he did a hell of a job. Didn't see him much for the rest of the season until obviously the Super Bowl, where he really made a name for himself. But ever since then, Mike, Emmanuel Sanders, I swear, has made it his mission to try to take Butler out. Even last year, when the Patriots faced them early into the season, commentators would come out and say, "Oh, does Butler lock you down?" And Sanders said, "Butler would never lock me down." Check the tape of they use safeties against him. So anytime Sanders has that one-on-one matchup with Butler, he wants to go out there and prove himself, and he sure did tonight. Butler had really struggled in the beginning of the game. You know, he was respecting Emmanuel Sanders' speed too much and backing off of him. Sanders just found all ways to get the ball and make Butler look silly this game.
Didn't look good at all. Not at all.
Gilmore looked pretty good out there.
I can't complain about his performance too much.
You can't say anything really bad about Gilmore on Demaryius Thomas, mostly for the game. Thomas ended the game with 5 receptions, 44 yards. He did have that touchdown, but it wasn't on Gilmore.
True. I mean, other than, you know, he had the typical Gilmore penalty.
I think
you just come to expect it now.
Yeah, it's the Brandon Browner effect, where you're just gonna have to you're gonna have to just, you know, there's gonna be a hold there or touch the mask or something from Gilmore. But if he can have a solid game with no blown coverages, he's not living up to expectations yet, but he can be solid for this team.
Absolutely. And you know, I don't mean to flip-flop, but I want to go back to offense just for a second. And as much of a great game that Tom Brady had tonight, you know, everybody's, you know, speaking in the comments talking about how good of a game Tom Brady had. I think a lot of credit has to go to the offensive line, because if you think about it, there's been so many games that Brady has played against this Denver team, and especially the certain guys on defense, and they have wreaked havoc against Tom Brady and the offensive line. And I think in this game, Brady wasn't hit a lot. He was only sacked one time. In many games that they've had before, like I said, Brady has been beat up by these guys up front for the Denver Broncos. But I got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line for doing a great job in protecting Brady tonight. I mean, obviously, we know what those guys, Von Miller and those guys up front, are capable of. But Starnecchia had those guys ready for this matchup against this tough Denver Broncos defense.
And if you're going to give their Patriots offensive line some you know, some consideration, recognition, you might as well give the same thing to the Broncos offensive line, because Brock also didn't get touched either this game. Brady got sacked once. You know how many times Brock got sacked? Donut. 0 times.
That's what we come to expect from this Patriots defense. They don't ever get to the quarterback, and it's rare. And if they do, it's a celebration, because that's how rare it is. The Patriots never get to the quarterback. So for us to look at the stats right now and see that Brock Osweiler wasn't sacked, if you're like us here or me, you're not too surprised, because that's just how the Patriots play. And with them not being able to get to the quarterback, at the same time, they held them to only 16 points. So I guess you got it.
So is this a bad offensive Broncos team, or is the Patriots defense getting better? Because I feel like every week we just see teams make horrible mistakes, You see Patriots take advantage of those mistakes and win. Is it more that the teams the Patriots are playing are just dummies, or the Patriots are playing really well?
I think it's a little bit of both because, in all honesty, I think Brock Osweiler is a bum, and the fact that he's a starting quarterback in this league is shocking to me. But at the same time, the Patriots defense has looked somewhat better. You know, whether it is containing the run a little bit, whether it is their play on in the secondary, it has looked a little better for sure. But the Patriots have gotten lucky these last couple of weeks. Osweiler again, bum. Phillip Rivers, if you watch this game today, you know what kind of quarterback Phillip Rivers is. So it's interesting to see. And the next week, you know, you're taking on Oakland Raiders team, who they're not the same Oakland Raiders team that, you know, we saw last season where Derek Carr was an MVP candidate, you know, throughout the whole year up until he broke his leg. That's a completely different Oakland Raiders team that, you know, we're witnessing this season. So it's also going to be interesting to see how they play against them. If they play to the best of their ability, Oakland Raiders can be a very high-powered offensive team. But they haven't been, and the Patriots defense at the same time is steadily on the rise as the season continues.
You guys are on the chat right now, and I see it booming. Keep commenting. We're going to get to some of you guys shortly. Holiday cash. You need it, and I know where to get it. MyBookie is the place to score serious cash on your sports predictions. Believe it or not, the holidays are just around the corner, and while that means plenty of parties, gifts, and spending, it also means there's a lot of football, basketball, and hockey games you can score big on every day. Man up and play like the pros on game day. You can play the money time slide or total. MyBookie is your hookup for all your betting needs and offers super fast payouts when you win. When you bet, it's just important as who you're betting on. And if you want to make money betting games, you got to go to mybookie.ag. Their only site I'd recommend. I trust them, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check it out yourself. Then have the odds of every matchup in a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a breeze. Join now MyBookie while matching your deposit to up to 50%. Use my promo code to activate it. mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid.
Looking at the live chat here, Marv, we got a lot of comments coming in. Guy Teddy Gonzalez said that interception by Chung was very nice.
It was nice, especially after Chris Collinsworth was yapping his mouth saying Brock Osweiler was playing very well, and right on cue, Brock threw that interception. So
True. A guy Celtic Bird again said 9 different Pats players caught a reception tonight.
Yeah, they spread the ball everywhere. Like you said, when you get a game with Dorsett and Dwayne Allen making contributions on the offense, you know Brady's on his game, especially against this tough Broncos defense. So that's a joy to see.
A guy, Gotti Jr., believes that the Patriots special team might be one of the best in all of the NFL.
I would agree. Mike won it because he thinks Gostkowski sucks, but I think this dude Mike can't stand Gostkowski.
Hey, he had a good game tonight, so I'm not even going to get on his case. I might have something for Gostkowski later on in the show, to be truly honest. Wow. But yeah, another comment that came in, and this one's pretty interesting. Will playing in Mexico next week benefit either team?
Benefit? No, it doesn't. It
so.
Doesn't benefit anybody. But the Patriots this week have the luxury of training in high altitude all week. You go into Mexico where the altitude is even higher, so they get used to in the system a little more. But it doesn't benefit anyone to play in that type of out. And it sucks for the Oakland Raiders because they lose a home game off of that.
True. And in my opinion, all that's really going to happen is Oakland Raiders just going to lose a game in another country. So that's just all I'm looking at when it boils down to it. Sorry, Oakland Raiders. They've been struggling all season. The Patriots are hot right now. Yeah, 5 games in a row, holding teams to under 17 points. The Patriots are hot right now. Everybody's healthy. Some guys are coming back from being injured. So, it's going to be a difficult game for Oakland, in my opinion, in Mexico.
I like how you said that, how the Oakland are struggling, because when you look back in the beginning of the year and you looked at this schedule, and you saw the stretch that the Patriots were going to go on. When you saw they were going to face, San Diego, then they got to go to Denver, then they got to go to Mexico against Oakland. You're like, whoa, this Patriots stretch is going to be tough.
True.
And it's looking like it's not it's not going to be a challenge at all. Broncos not who we thought they were going to be. Oakland has struggled. It's weird how the season has just really switched up.
Absolutely. Like you just said, you looked at that part of the schedule and you figured, okay, we know what Denver's defense has been capable over the years. We haven't seen that same defense. Like I just said, we saw what Oakland was doing last year and how Derek Carr was, running in the MVP conversation for a while with his team. That's not happening this season. So it's crazy how things can change up. If you watch the NFL over the years and years and years, so many things can change. Players come and go. Teams are good one season, drop off the next. There's one thing that stays consistent, and that's just the play of the New England Patriots. Each season that comes along, there's always questions about how's the defense going to be, how's the offense going to be, how the new player's going to fit in. Brady's a year older. How is he going to perform? Questions. This is now week 10, if I'm correct, right? That we're on right now. The Patriots are one of the top teams in the NFL. I don't think that's a debatable, statement to make. They're just winning games. They're on a winning streak right now. And you're looking at the schedule. Oakland coming up next. We just talked about their struggles. Miami, Buffalo, Miami.
It's a tough stretch.
That Miami, Buffalo, Miami.
You're playing at Buffalo, then you go to Miami, and then you finish it off. Then you have to play at Pittsburgh. That's a tougher stretch than we thought when it was going to be Denver and at Denver and at Oakland.
Very true. I mean, those divisional games can always be interesting because, a lot of people look at like Miami and Buffalo and think those teams just suck. But sometimes, for some reason, Patriots play these teams.
Buffalo's playing tough
and they play the Patriots tough and whatnot. And Pittsburgh, in my opinion, is probably, the second most high-powered offense, second or third, because, Kansas City was buzzing for a while. Pittsburgh is one of the top offenses in the AFC, so it's going to be interesting to see how that game goes in Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger has had an up and down season, but Le'Veon Bell's still there. Antonio Brown is still there. Your new guy,
Juju on that beat, still there.
This guy, Juju Smith,
Schuster
is over there putting in work. The youngest player in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see. Patriots can close out this season strong if they continue doing and putting in the same work they have been doing over these last couple of games for sure.
And you want that number 1 seed, Mike.
Sure
you
do.
Want that number 1 seed. Pittsburgh, they have the same record as the New England Patriots. They only lost 2 games as well. And you know what happens when the Patriots get that number 1 seed? The road goes to New England. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I'm still looking at these comments here for sure. Guy Gotti Jr. believes that Steelers game is a scary one coming up on the season.
At Pittsburgh, yes.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we have here. Guy Christian Torres told me I'm tripping. Gostkowski is great.
Gostkowski's amazing. He's missed 2 kicks. But Mike, if it goes even a little left and it sneaks in, Mike's in here in the studio just going, Gostkowski stinks. The guy's had a great bounce back year.
I'll give him some credit. Last year was bad. I was ready to tell him, hit the road, Jack.
Last year was funny money.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. That's what I was really ready to tell Gostkowski. But I'll give him some credit. This year has been much better. His accuracy is back. That San Diego game was a little questionable. But I think tonight
he gave him a sorry.
Oh, he deserved it, in my opinion. But I think tonight he was 2 for 2. With field goals, and I think 5 for 5 with extra points. I'm pretty sure that was his stat line. So, solid game from tonight. Like I said, I got something for Gostkowski coming up later in the show. Stay tuned. You got to give credit
where credit is due.
Where credit is due. So I got something for him for sure.
I like that.
But all in all, I think that what the Patriots have been doing over this stretch of games and even all season. You know, one debate that people start having, and this is something that I definitely want to ask, you know, people watching right now, people buzzing in the chat, is Tom Brady a bona fide, without a doubt, MVP candidate? Is that is because some people still question it. Some people
I don't think he's a bona fide.
You don't think he's a bona fide MVP candidate right now? Is he not in the conversation at all?
Oh, he's definitely in the conversation.
Okay.
I think with Brady, that's going to work against him is that LeBron James syndrome or that Michael Jordan. When you're always winning, you're always that new guy who's hot right now that you might want to lean towards and give it to him. Right now, Carson Wentz is balling.
Mm-hmm.
He is balling. That Eagles offense is amazing, on fire. They just added Jay Ajayi too to that offense. That team is rolling right now. I think right now I'll give it to Carson Wentz, and then you put Brady up there. But Brady, obviously, you know, every year you could put him in that MVP category. He has never had a bad year. His numbers look ridiculous. We're not even going to talk about his age because, you know, anytime you talk about Brady, the age thing comes up. So that's already a given. Brady's played amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he's now has 19 touchdown passes on the season, only 2 interceptions. You know, this guy is looking very solid for a 40-year-old quarterback, whatever the stats are. I know they always try to compare Warren Moon and Brett Favre, whatever the case may be, when they're 40 years old. At this rate, Brady will blow those numbers out the window because he's just continuing to put in work week in and week out. But I like what I'm seeing just in general, especially how the defense has continued to improve. You got some young guys stepping up. They need to in the absence of Dante Hightower for sure. I think Kyle Van Noy is one guy who had a solid game tonight. I know Trey Flowers made a couple big plays. But, yeah, it's still a lot of season left to play. Still a lot of season left to play. And with those games that are coming up, the stretch to Kansas City, the Miami, Buffalo, you know, what you want to continue to see is more of the same. You look at a game like tonight, you scored 41 points. You put up points that we expect the Patriots to put up, that they're capable of putting up. And then on the other hand, you hold the team to only 16 points. What more can you really ask for?
No, it's a great performance. This is a great way to start off, you know, this road trip, get this team going in high altitude. Next week, again, you're facing an Oakland team, like you mentioned, that's not that great. Keep the momentum going. This team can really start to find its swagger, especially on the defensive end. Going down in the playoffs, you know, early in the season, we're like, for playoffs, we just got to take it week by week. But now you can really start thinking the Patriots can really start making some noise if they really get this momentum going. 41 points they put up on this Denver defense is really impressive.
My man, Clifton Brown disagrees with you, Marv. He said Tom Brady right now is the MVP of the league. He loves what Wentz is doing, but he has to show him a little bit more, especially next week in a game against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that Brady's over Wentz. I just think if you see what Wentz's numbers right now, I can't pull it up exactly at this moment. Compared to Brady, they're pretty similar. He's playing off the roof. He did the same thing to the Denver Broncos defense that Brady did, and they dropped 50-something points on Denver. Dallas, he said Dallas next week that they're facing. That's a big game for Wentz, a big divisional game. I think he's going to show up. It's going to go down the stretch, but I think Wentz is a little higher right now in front of Brady, especially because, like I was just saying, how Brady's always dominating when it comes to, you know, these type of awards. Sometimes they like to give it to a fresh face.
I hear what you're saying. It's happened in the NBA multiple times throughout the years. But with all that being said and looking at the time, I think we can get into the stars and sorries of the game tonight.
Okay, stars and sorries.
But we'll start with the stars.
Wait. We'll do our stars and sorries, but put down your stars and sorries in the comment sections as well. Let us know who you guys think are the stars and sorries.
And if you don't know, a star is, you know, star of the game, MVP of the game, who you thought had a solid performance, maybe a highlight play, whatever you liked from whatever player. That is a star of the game.
You want to be a CLNS star of the game. It's one of the highest awards you can get.
Absolutely. I'm talking Grammy,
Yeah,
Oscar,
Grammys,
Academy
Oscars.
Awards, whatever the case may be.
You want to be a star.
But I tell you one thing you don't want to be. You don't want to be a sorry. So if you saw somebody who had a trash performance, terrible game, just didn't like what you saw from them at all, give that person a sorry. But like I said, Marv and I will start with the stars. I got two. The first one, I think, has to go to a guy who just had another solid performance. Another solid performance. I see some guys agreeing with me, and that is easy. Tom Brady.
I'm ready.
For over 250 yards, I believe. 3 touchdown passes. 266 yards with 3 touchdown passes. He was 25 of 34. Typical Tom Brady game. What more can you ask for? I mean, you know, other quarterbacks in the league have a game like that. They're saying, oh, this is a career night for me. My goodness. But that's the typical Tom Brady stat line.
Another day in the office.
That's it. That's it. You punch in, punch out, go home to his kids and his wife and chill whenever they get back home from this road trip. But Tom Brady is a star of the game for sure. Do you have one?
I do. I have 2. Do you want to finish up yours or?
Okay, yeah. You know my other one. I was giving him credit early in the show. I said you got to give credit where credit is due. Steven Gostkowski, you're finally out of the gutter because last week you was a sorry, but now you
2 weeks
you up 2 weeks ago. Yeah, before the bye. Sorry, you was in the gutter. But tonight, you are a star of the game. Like I said, I think he was 2 for 2 in field goals, 5 for 5 with extra points.
It's about time. This is big. This is big for me. Mike can't stand this guy. So this is big. A star? Wow.
You a star for the night, baby.
And my star, I got 2 as well. First one goes to the special teams all around for the New England Patriots. I mean, what you want? You want a kick return? They got you. Block punts? They got you. They were just solid. Even they forced a big, there was a punt that was going to happen, and there was 12 men on the field. The punter realized it, called that penalty, and it became 4th and 5 to a first down, which really just ended the game throughout. Ended any hope for the Broncos to really make this a game. So special teams was a force this game. There's the first star. My second star goes to a man that all he does is catch touchdowns. Dwayne Allen. Dwayne Allen is a star.
My goodness. If you've been following this show,
Dwayne Allen's a star.
Marv has been hating on Dwayne Allen.
He's a star, Mike.
And for him to go with giving that man so much hate, to giving Dwayne Allen a star, we've come a long way on this show. Wow.
Two targets. I think that's a career high. 1 reception and a touchdown. Dwayne Allen was just amazing out there. I mean, it's finally good to see him on the board. He's got that gorilla off his shoulder. I hope to see more of Dwayne Allen.
Oh, man. The smile on Dwayne Allen's face when he caught that touchdown. The way Brady got in his face, dude, Brady got his face. About damn time you caught something.
And if you look at that play, like you really look at that play, Brady was trying to throw the ball somewhere else.
That was Brady's last option on that play to pass to Dwayne Allen. But
it went through.
I got to give it to you, Dwayne Allen, for sure. Looking at the comments here, I see a Burkhead as a star of the game.
For sure.
He had a solid game. People agree with me. Brady, of course, star of the game for sure. A lot of people liking Burkhead. Someone said Dwayne Allen also did a lot of good blocking out there.
He did, especially in the special teams. That block with Dion Lewis got that touchdown. He had a key block in there. So Dwayne Allen had a great game. I'm serious. He is the star of the game.
But like I said, when there's the good, there's the bad. And when you're bad on this show, we tell you sorry. I got a lot of people already agreeing with my sorry of the game. Maybe he's your sorry of the game too. But I think we could both agree a guy who got chewed.
That's my sorry.
Bad. Sure. My sorry for sure. It's a lot of people sorry for sure. Malcolm Butler. What did he give up to Emmanuel Sanders again? Because it was bad. I think it was 6 receptions, 100 and
Why is my thing in Spanish? I don't get it. 6 receptions, 130. I got in the Deportes section. I don't get it. 6 receptions, 137 yards, and it was uglier than the stat line. Emmanuel Sanders was doing, freaking silhouette, spinning, catching. All the catches looked pretty.
Then he started wagging his finger one time at Butler like, you ain't touching me tonight, boy. You not touching me tonight.
He made Osweiler look good, and it's really hard to make Osweiler look good.
That is true.
Malcolm Butler from CLNS, from the people who have spoken, you get a sorry.
Man, oh man.
That wasn't good.
It wasn't a good performance at all. But like I said, Emmanuel Sanders, top talent, pretty good wide receiver. We just gonna chalk it up as a bad game for Malcolm Butler. And that's all I'm gonna chalk it up as. If you go out next week, oh boy, you talking about a Cooper, Crabtree, them guys over there. Butler, you better.
Crabtree could do the same type of damage.
Oh boy, Butler, you better be in, on the practice field putting in some work.
Where's Bad and Bougie?
Oh.
Bring some back. Give Bad and Bougie some playing time.
We didn't see any of Badamusi tonight, but Oakland has a lot of different options out there. Yeah. So. We might see him on the field as well. Maybe Rowe is back from injury.
Eric Rowe, that's another key guy that did not play. You're facing now Marshawn Lynch, a hard runner. You got some weapons there in Oakland. They're gonna still be fighting, to try to make that playoff push. So Patriots can really solidify the end for Oakland next week. So it's a big matchup against Oakland in Mexico.
Absolutely, like Marv just said, Oakland will be against the Patriots next week in Mexico. Another game where Patriots look to continue their winning streak. Any final words, Marv, before we go?
Solid game from Dwayne Allen and the Patriots. I'm really proud of what I saw at this game. 41 points on this Denver defense. Patriots play well.
This is the type of night where, maybe the week before Dwayne Allen had no reporters around his locker. Oh, he's surrounded tonight for sure. But yeah, man.
And I definitely want to hear more about this Martellus Bennett situation and how he's feeling, the health throughout this whole week. It's going to be real interesting to hear that dynamic. So
it's going to be great to find out more for sure. For everybody who's been up late with us watching, thank you for tuning in, reading all your comments. We like the back and forth interaction that we have with you guys. We appreciate it a lot. We will be back next week following that game against the Oakland Raiders in Mexico right here on this same channel, on the same CLNS media network. Patriots Postgame Show.
Marvin is on.
I'm Mike Molyneaux. We will see you guys next week.